And welcome to the show, Our Islam and Community Issues. My name is Naeem Sharif, and we have some special guests today. To my right is Brother Benjamin Shabazz. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, sir. How you doing?
Good to see you. And to my far right is Brother Billy Hall. Brother Billy Hall, ladies
right,
and gentlemen.
right,
Yes,
all
sir.
right,
Brother
all
went
right.
all the way
right.
over to the motherland.
Yes.
So this is part two of a show. Brother Billy Hall went to Egypt, and he had quite the experience and some great stories. We touched on a little bit on the first show, but we want to get down to some of the little side stories. Well, what they would call, what do they say, the rest of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brother Benjamin, I think you might have had some questions for our guests.
You want to open us up with a brief?
Oh, yes. We ask the Creator to bless us in the show, and thank you for your mercy. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right.
So, the first show with the pictures was so dynamic,
Right.
but you kept adding little tidbits of things that happened on the way. So, I'd like to ask you a few things about that. Like, well, let's start off. How long was the flight over there?
From JFK Airport, it took 10 hours
Okay.
to get to Egypt. And then on the way back, since we weren't flying with the jet stream, it took 11 and a half hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just straight flight, no layovers.
No layovers.
Okay. Okay. Now, you talked also a little bit about the weather. What was the weather like?
It averaged around 109. It got up to 114, and it got as low as 107.
Oh, as low as 107.
That's during the daytime.
That's during the daytime.
Okay.
At night,
Goodness.
it averaged in the 90s to the upper 80s. And the indigenous population there now, they come out at night to go shopping downtown. Yeah. You see some out during the day, but the bulk of them come out at night. Yeah.
Kind of
And one thing you'll notice is the laws are so strict about your respect for women that women are out at night in a respectful way, dressed in a respectful way, and behaving in a respectful way. But there's both male and female out at night. One thing I didn't cover is traffic. Be careful before you cross the street. One thing you'll notice is they don't lay on the horn, but they constantly hit the horn, so that you'll be aware of them. And you will see mostly British cars. All the cars there are old. All of them are outdated. And then you'll see these people that ride a bike that has something on it where they can pick up riders. And they normally on our streets, it would be about 20 miles an hour. They're going about 30 miles an hour. And so you have to really look before you cross the street. And you will have plenty of help because these people want to stop the traffic for you so you can pay them. Yeah.
Pay them.
Yes. That society is starving for American dollars. I don't know why they're not allowed to be creative because all groups of people are creative. But they are confined and restricted to a certain way of thinking and behaving. So, that's outside of my realm of, But you're told when you're in the hotel that the swarm of people are going to follow you no matter where you go, trying to get you to come into their stores, trying to buy some way to earn some money. And an American dollar is worth 16 pounds of their money, which is what they use as pounds. And so your money goes a long ways. When we tipped housekeeping, because the gratuities was taken care of in your trip package, but when you tip the housekeeping, you tip them, if you're in a double occupancy, each one of you tip them $35 of their money, which is 70 pounds, which is $4 in American money and some change. Yeah, and they are very, very appreciative of it. Very appreciative of it. Everyone sells water, so you can get Aquafina that has Aquafina and then an Arab label on it on the back. Everywhere, everywhere, and it
Is
costs.
it cold?
Yes, yes, and it's 20 pounds, which is $1 and some change in American money. And don't give them $1 of your money because that's 16 pounds that you're giving that you can. They'll make your money go a long ways.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you gonna do. Here's a couple of bucks.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. Use pounds. And this one store that we go into, they're used to a lot of Afro descendants coming back to Kemet. They give you this when when you buy from their store. They give you little trinkets like this. So, and this is an ankh, which this part up here represents the woman's womb, and the bottom part represents up here the male's phallus, and it's also a symbol for life. Along with procreation.
Well, that is life.
Yeah. What I didn't show you the last time was this picture that didn't have the noses knocked off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I wanted you to see that.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Oh, okay.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the few statues that didn't have the noses knocked off.
Yeah, look at them big noses.
Yeah.
I wonder who that could be.
Yeah. And I hope your audience know that the term Egypt is a Greek word. It was called ancient Kemet, which refers to the black soil, the black skin, the black land. And it also refers to the watery abyss, because the watery abyss is considered to be a few things, and one of them amongst them is the first land that appeared, and everything else was built upon the first land. We have a first land here, it's the continent of Africa. So, and one day we'll have to talk about what the word Africa means, because we're not pronouncing it the right way, but for anyone that is melanin rich, that says he's not African, don't know what he's saying, because in that word is not only cosmology, geology, but it's also your roots from that geology and cosmology. Yeah. So one day we have to cover that, just that alone. But yeah. Also, the people there are very nice, but aggressive in terms of trying to get money. Yeah, they're very nice, but very aggressive. You're everyone's brother. Everyone calls you brother. Yeah. So what I would do is when I see them coming, I say, brother, can I get some money? I would beat them to the punch. Yeah, because I knew what was coming. And you will get the first day you're going to get annoyed, because when you try to have a conversation with your friend, they're just constantly asking you to buy something. And it becomes a little bit annoying until you understand the pressure they're under. This is their one chance to get some money. So, from that perspective, I understand. Yeah.
So how were so you had a special group that you went with. So how were other groups that were around you?
Oh, man.
Tell us how that went down.
Yeah, we had Asian groups. Obviously, some of them were Japanese by the language they spoke, and Chinese, and then Germanic people that were there. I would imagine from Holland, Germany, and different places. Well, the word, the N word, was used by them whenever they would pass by us. Like when the Asian group passed by, they would speak their language, but they would also have the word nigger in there. We don't know what they were saying, but we do know that they said nigger. And it was the same with the Germanic people. We don't know if they were from Deutschland, Holland, which part, of Europe they were from, but they would speak their language, and then as they passed by us, they would say the word nigger. Yeah, yeah, but we were having such a good time learning and being there that it had no effect. Even if they said it loud enough, which I'm sure they did, that so we can hear it, it didn't have no effect. And that's a lesson in how, when those of us who grew up from the 60s on back, on how we have to get back and not let that word stir up your emotions like it's intended to do when they use it. And that it diffuse it.
Well, that's amazing because you're in the land of the black folks. You're studying the black folks there, and then you've got a group of black folks walking by, but you get called the N-word.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and I think for various reasons that a lot of it is envy, which turns into jealousy, which turns into murder. But I think it's envy because no matter where we go and we mind our own business, we might do a lot of stuff to each other, but we basically mind our own business. And that seems to bother some people. And so they will call out names or throw rocks or something to get you to interact with them. And I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it's envy myself. But our forefathers and mothers left everything we needed to know about the universe, the spiritual realm, ancient Kemet, and how life was there. It's all chipped into stones. And also, there are thousands of texts. I mean, literally thousands of texts. And the one place where you'll find a lot of it is Sudan.
Really?
Yes. Now, Sudan, all that used to be under Sudan, all the way down to the equator, and that includes what you refer to as Ethiopia. Ethiopia is the land of Cush.
Right.
Cush is the constellation which energy forces govern that area. Each constellation, the light from that constellation has an effect on a certain area on the earth. And this is why our Sar and our Set are chosen as kings for the earth, because our Set, which comes from what they call Sirius, that directly impacts our sun. And so does our Sar, which they call, he's from Sa, which they call Orion. And that energy also affects our whole, between the two solar system and our sun. This has to do with what we eat, how food grows, all of that. So that's why we pay close attention to the constellations and their relationship to the mineral life, plant life, and animal life here on Earth. Because we're all intertwined, interdependent, and interrelated to each other. So no one is more important than the other person. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, that's all in stone and in the ancient texts. Yeah, yeah. And one of the most known ancient texts is the Shabaka stone. It's where the Europeans and them were able to translate, E.J. Wallace Bulge was able to translate hieroglyphs or something like that. Yeah, but the Shabaka stone was found by Shabaka. But when he found it, the text that he found was ancient to him.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? We call Shabaka ancient, but the text that he found was ancient to him. Yeah, yeah.
So is that another word for the Rosetta Stone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Also, our forefathers and mothers left the African people that we are descendants of the little ones, the Twa. Yeah, the Twa people are the oldest of all the Africans, the little people, and they were all over the entire earth. That's why when you go to the Philippines, the Negritos are still there. When you go to China, I have articles from China from their head historian that the Innu people were there, and they still have artifacts from the Innu people before the Mongoloids invaded that area. And the first dynasty in China was called the Shang dynasty with an S, and that's a part of the Innu descendants. Yeah, yeah. And if you go to Japan and go up to where their gurus and wise men are, all of them are Afrocentric. Every single one of them. Today, 2019, in Japan.
You say Japan, yeah. I heard that also about the ninjas.
Yeah. They say that you, those are, which is assassins, but you can't be one unless you have some African blood in you.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, the little people of Africa, and they have some temples for just for them. It's called the Temple of the Nobles. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they, if you go to Ethiopia, to a tour there, they'll take you up to where some of them still live there today. And if you go to India, before it was invaded from the north, which is written in Sanskrit and their other religious texts, the little African people that were there still have blonde hair and blue eyes.
I seen that.
And they have some other ones, and they're only this tall. They're like 5'4". 5'4", so it wasn't no like you came in and conquered something. These little tiny people. And they're still there. So when I don't know if you ever heard of Rinoko Rashidi, he did a documentary up there in what's called India, and they're so happy to see us that they're real innocent and pure. They're just happy to see you. It's just the joy in them. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, in ancient Kemet, there's a temple of the nobles there. And Bes, which is one of their deities, is one of the little people that they honor.
So, give us a little update on this definitions, vocabulary. Kemet, what does that mean?
Kemet refers to the land, to the soil, and to the people. I don't know the linguistics of it, but if people, I know a lot of people who are educated in universities here didn't think that we refer to ourselves as black. That's not true. Not only did we refer to ourselves as black, we even talked about the melanin, that gives us our skin color. The word Africa, I really don't want to say on camera. I mean, I'd rather tell you guys in private the breakdown of the word and what it means and what it relates to, because it's extremely important to anybody who is African or African descent. I don't care if you call yourself a Native American or you were never in Africa, all you want. But the word refers to cosmology, and it refers to the earth, and then it refers to you. It's all contained in that word.
Well, you piqued our interest now. Yeah, so we have about, maybe like 7 or 8 minutes now.
Well, I advise you to go. We went to, I think, 4 different cities there. I can't remember the name of them. I just know that Cairo, Luxor, Abu Simbel, and 1 or 2 others that we went to in this 14-day period. Also, I don't know if it's important, but my blood pressure was low. And a lot of my Amazonians said, well, it's because you wasn't dealing with the stress and the traffic.
Right.
Some says because the food don't have the chemicals in it like here. But I got back here and my blood pressure was 97/70. 72. I said, man, if it could just stay like this,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was an experience, and all of us stay in contact with each other that went on the group, and all of us usually go back 3 and 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for more information, what's the name again?
You want to go to YouTube and just put in Ashra, ASHRA, Kwesi, KWESI Productions.
Okay.
That's Ashra Kwesi Productions.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
YouTube.
That sounds good.
So how often does he go in a year?
He goes twice a year to ancient Kemet and twice a year to Ethiopia. And the one to Ethiopia is very good, but you're really going to do even more walking.
Mm.
And you will get to go see the nobles, the Twa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're more close to the mountains, but you'll get to go there. But yeah, twice a year.
Twice a year.
Yeah.
So I know you had mentioned something about the trees at one point. What is it about the trees over there?
The trees over there are very much like growing up in Mississippi. One of my favorite trees was the weeping willow, because the branches grow so thick and so low to the ground that you can just go there and use it like a hammock, and just lay back and take a nap or just rest. And a lot of the few trees that they do have there is like that. And and then plus. Trees are responsible. I mean, we have a holy exchange with trees. Of course, you know, the carbon monoxide that we give to them, and then the oxygen that they give to us in return. So it's a holy exchange. So trees are very, very high in status, just like mountains are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? So you saw the pyramids. So what other things that you saw that really captured your attention?
Other than the pyramids, I would say the sky itself, because it's right up on you. I mean, it's right up on you. Did I show a picture of the tree the last time?
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
I did? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But that's good. We can show it again this time because some people might have not seen the first show.
Yeah.
So that's a tree that you kind of tried to find some shade in.
Yeah. I was actually able to find some shade, and it looks very, very where you can take a nap. Yeah, just lay on one of the branches, especially the one to the right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So tell us about the food over there.
The food, we don't know about the indigenous food, but the food at the hotel was, it was pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, we season it different over here, and they put out different seasons. But it was pretty good. Pretty good. We were told not to eat anything raw.
Okay.
So for vegetarians, you didn't eat no salads. Except there's always one or two in the group that eat what they want. And they didn't even get sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you want to kind of, I guess I would want to kind of eat a salad, you know, but you say don't eat nothing raw. What about the fruits?
The only fruits that we ate was watermelon.
Okay.
Because even if they rinse that, it has the rind on it, so it couldn't go into the meat of the melon.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I did accidentally, before I caught myself, I got a nice juicy plum, and I peeled the skin off of it, but it was so good. I got to saying, but I got to thinking, well, supposing water seeped into it because the skin is so thin on there, that I put it down. But the next time I think I'm gonna try it at the end of the tour. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the government again. You said there were guards everywhere?
Yeah, the military is everywhere. And I think they were AK-47s. We were happy that there was military everywhere in terms of not being able to get kidnapped. But they
From who?
You never know if, like when we left, there was a car bombing. There was a car bombing outside the city, but nevertheless, it was a car bombing. And I don't know who these radical groups are, but I trust them and believe what they're saying. Because those people are really desperate for money. And I have my own opinion on that. Can I show this picture here?
Well, who is she standing in front of?
That's the falcon,
The falcon.
headed deity. Yeah.
What's
Haru.
what's his name? Oh, Haru.
Yeah.
Haru.
Okay.
Yeah, Haru.
Yeah. And the way she's holding her hands, when you pray, you want to hold your hands. Have you ever seen the hieroglyphs where it has the hatchets on there or the axe? Well, Bulginims try to say that it represents God, but what it represents is different dimensions. So when you hold your hands up like this, and I'm not going to get into the rest on camera, but when you hold your hands up like this, you're actually cutting through the different dimensions. And I don't know if I'm explaining it right to you, but this is one thing that you do, because you have to do that in order to make contact and communicate with the deities that you want to communicate with. And it's also important, the importance of the day, because all deities is just energy. We are energy. We call it a spirit, but it's energy that you're making contact with. And like everything else in the universe, the energy don't stand still. It moves around just like the constellations, the stars, and the planets. So you have to pray at a certain time of day, depending on what deity you want to communicate with. And they ain't going to communicate with you if you're breaking divine law. They will hear you, but if you want to communicate with a deity, you have to, there's a certain thing. I'm not talking about stealing and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about in terms of breaking the laws of opposites.
Well, on that note, very interesting. Well, there's much more to get into. So
Wow.
we thank you very much, and we thank our audience for watching, and wishing everyone peace.
All right. Hotep.
Hotep.
And put your